64-team league, a 64-team football league under one umbrella. Could it happen? Will it happen? Welcome to episode 346 of College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our ever-growing channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Let's not waste any more time. Chip Kelly, you heard what he had to say, the head coach of UCLA. Stewart Mandel answered the question in his mailbag from The Athletic. We're going to go through it. We're going to provide a link in the description box. You can read the whole article. We're just going to hit this one question in his mailbag of this morning. How far is the NCAA from actually becoming a 64-team league like Chip Kelly described? What are the pros and the cons of such a league? The question was asked by Craig B., Charlotte, North Carolina. According to Stewart Mandel, everything Kelly said at his bowl game press conference made a ton of common sense. But even so, some parts were more practical than others. The key point he's making, which is absolutely spot on, Chip Kelly, is that UCLA joining the Big Ten in football should not necessitate at UCLA volleyball, swimming, track and field, etc., having to join the Big Ten as well. Our softball team should be playing Arizona in softball, Chip Kelly said. It's worth pointing out that this already happens. Not every conference offers every sport, and thus, while Florida and Vanderbilt are the SEC members in football, their women's lacrosse teams play in the AAC. Most of Notre Dame's non-football teams compete in the ACC, but its hockey team is in the Big Ten, and so on and so forth. So yes, UCLA and USC, Oregon and Washington, go play wherever you want in football, but your other sports should be in a West Coast league with Stanford, Cal, and others. The entrant school's impact on the Big Ten's TV value is almost entirely derived from football. They can use that money to fund the other sports. As for Kelly's proposed 64-team football conference, that sounds neat and tidy, but what incentive do the SEC and the Big Ten have to join forces with the less valued ACC and the Big 12? Every year we play 7 games against the West Coast teams, and then we play the East. This is Chip Kelly, Syracuse, Boston College, Pitt, West Virginia, Virginia. Then the next year you play the South while you still play your 7 West Coast teams. That's not an attractive schedule. Fox is paying you guys $65 million a year to play Ohio State and Penn State, not Syracuse and Boston College. Stewart Mandel asks, I've written every couple months for the past 5 years, when conference consolidation comes, the magic cut line won't be 64. It will be 32 or less. It will be the very top brands that drive the overwhelming majority of the television value banding together, especially once the courts rule that the schools must share their revenue with the athletes and or pay them a salary. Ohio State, with its $250 million in annual athletics revenue, can afford to cut those checks without breaking a sweat. Maryland, whose overall budget is less than half, $114 million, it's going to be higher than that after the new revenue comes in for the new media deal, would have a much tougher time of it. And finally, in this article, in the meantime, though, I love to see some common sense reconfiguration that separates Power 5 football from Power 5 everything else. I'm going to give you my opinion on this. Strongly held opinion. It's not going to happen. Not anytime in the near future. You're not going to be able to dislodge the football from the rest of the sports. Yes, football is the driver of the bus. They bring in the most value, the most revenue to the conference. But the conference wants it all from a school. They want it all for their conference network. They want to be able to put on as much live content on their conference network as possible. There could be the possibility of another channel within the conference network once the conference gets to a certain number. UCLA's basketball program, UCLA's softball program, this was part of the criteria, the calculation of the Big Ten in bringing UCLA into the conference. No, I know Chip Kelly wants UCLA to be able to play Arizona in big time series throughout the season in softball and baseball, but that's going to have to happen in non-conference play. The Big Ten wants UCLA baseball, softball, basketball in the Big Ten. Same with Oregon, same with Washington, same with USC. These conference networks want as much live sporting events as possible to put on their network. They get a better ad rate when they put on a live content than just another show with analysts talking. That's what happened to the Longhorn Network. It died. It was on their way of dying before the Texas went to the SEC because they didn't have enough live content on their network. So no, this is not going to happen, not anytime in the near future. And when we're talking about this consolidation, it's happening right now, by the way. That's why these conferences are getting bigger. But when Stewart Mandel says the magic number is 32, I'm not buying that either. It's going to be higher than 32. And I don't believe that there's going to be playoff access denied to schools outside of the SEC and the Big Ten for many, 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 many years down the road if it ever happens. 32 teams, it's going to be much higher than that if the consolidation to a Super League ever happens. Yeah, so I disagree with large parts of this article. Would have been great 30 years ago if there would have been a 64-team league and then divided up in divisions and share the revenue and all that. Yes, of course. But it's not happening now. As Stewart Mandel correctly said, there is no real incentive for the SEC and the Big Ten to conform into that type of landscape. Not now, not when they've built the advantages, not when they've taken the risk. When the Big Ten took the risk of building the Big Ten network, that's just one example, not the risk of expanding. It could have went pear-shaped on them, but it's only increased the value of the conference. SEC and the Big Ten have no incentive in building the 64-team conference. And again, Super League, some sort of 32-team league, it's going to be higher than that. It's not going to be just 32 teams. But anyways, that's my strongly held opinion. Give me yours. Do you really believe there's going to be a 64 league football league? We have 68 football programs and Autonomy 4 conferences right now. And then add on Notre Dame, that's 69. I don't know. Don't think it's going to happen. Not anytime soon. Again, give me your thoughts and comments. Let me know how I got it wrong all over again. Until next time, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.